All right, now to the NFL, where 5 NFL teams have decided to skip the voluntary off-season workouts. Those teams include the Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Bucks, Detroit Lions, and some of the New England Patriots. Much of the concern is stemming from the lack of coronavirus protocols. We have Denver facing a rising positivity rate in their community, and Seattle said after reviewing the research and information surrounding the workouts, they decided not to participate. Okay, Drink, what are your thoughts on players skipping the voluntary workouts due to concerns around COVID-19 and the alleged lack of protocols in place from the NFL?
Well, first and foremost, when I hear the word voluntary, it is what it is at that point. It is what it is. Like, you can't, like, I posed this scenario to you. Like, being in the armed forces, right? If somebody call you and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, hey, Jay, you know, I don't want to throw your stuff out there, but hey, Jay, you know, hey, we got this opportunity on Sunday at 8. You we need you out there.
You lost me at Sunday.
What? Did you say you want me to volunteer on Sunday? Like, nah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't doing it. So that's how I look at this. Like, is it a bigger issue this season? Maybe. You know what I mean, maybe it is. But at the end of the day, it's voluntary. That's it. Like, it's not part of their contract. It's not. It's voluntary. When we start talking about OTAs and stuff like that, and then teams are not showing up, now I got you. By contract, they supposed to be there. All right, you start docking their money. That's simple. You don't want to show, you don't get paid. Here's the thing. I just don't understand how the COVID protocol is so much different from what you've been doing the whole last season. What is so different? I think the biggest problem with the whole COVID protocol when it came to the NFL was not the NFL. It was more on the organizations, the teams that wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. You know, Tennessee Titans out here,
Yeah.
they had their debacle for like forever, right? And then it was other teams, but I know the Tennessee Titans was like the biggest violators. They was acting a fool. But that's the biggest problem with the COVID protocol. It's not what the NFL has established, because if you use the protocols they established, it works. I mean, we see the numbers. But when we seen those spikes, it was always teams that wasn't where they were supposed to be, or they wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. The players out here not doing what they supposed to do. So, I mean, granted, I got it. I just feel like COVID is a nice excuse. It's just like when you go to the DMV now and you try to get something done, and they tell you, we're going to holler at you in 2 months. Due to COVID, your service is going to, like, you know what I mean? Like, every time you try to do something, it's due to COVID. No, you know? And all you hearing is, due to COVID, I'm not going to help you. You can kick rocks. That's all you hear, because COVID is no one excuse. That's how I feel about this whole situation. I feel like these players, they're not gonna go. You know, everything that's going around in you know, the pandemic and everything, so they don't want to go. It's voluntary. So what's the best way to clean this up and make it look reasonable or acceptable? Oh, you know, we got this COVID issue. Oh, yo, man, it's COVID. No, we can't be doing that. We can't be working out in that. Come on, man. God, leave, man. I just got the vaccine, man. You can't be doing it. So,
Yeah.
So with that said, the way I look at it is, I don't think the concern is warranted. I just think it's a good excuse why not to work out. It's voluntary. Because when OTAs come, watch how little you hear about the COVID protocol. Because now people going to start losing their money for not showing up. I really, to be honest, I mean, if the players came out right now and said, we don't want to show up because we don't want to show up, what you gonna do? Like,
yeah, I'd rather hear that.
It's voluntary. What you gonna do? You just gonna suck it up and be like, dang, man, that sucks. Are we gonna have any players that come to the voluntary workouts? You know what I'm saying? So with all that said, like, it is what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, I will say this, and I was a little perplexed about this. I was a little surprised that the NFLPA sent out a memo to the players saying, don't participate in the voluntary, workouts. Maybe it's an end goal that I'm not seeing. I was just a little thrown back, why are you telling the players not to do that? If it's the players' own decision to do it, I got it. I didn't understand why would you send them a memo that say don't do it. I don't know if this is a shot across the ball to the owners or whatever the case might be. You do know though, once you see a memo like that to the players, I would be it would be hard touch to see any player show up to the voluntary workouts when you see something like that come. You think about like it come from the top. Don't show up to voluntary workouts. Okay, because what's gonna happen to you as a player if the PA is telling you that it's voluntary? All right, I'm out. I see y'all when we gotta be here. I guess. Is it good for young players? No. Is it good for progression? No. But this is where we at. That's why you have these agreements. So with that said, I don't have a problem with the players not showing up, not one bit, because it's voluntary. I think it's cute how they try to wrap it up with COVID. And that's real cute. They try to mask it with COVID and say this, that, and the third. But I have to believe if the NFL handled COVID this whole season, I find it hard that they couldn't handle it in this off-season workout. You don't forget how to handle a situation. You know how to handle it. You've been doing it. So yeah, I think it's just a good little smoke screen for them not want to be at the workouts.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I don't think I don't think we touched on this too much. I don't think we got in the weeds too much before the show on this, but I think we've arrived at a very similar place on multiple fronts. First of all, it's a voluntary workout, so who cares? I'm not mad at the players if they don't come to a voluntary workout. I think, you know, like you said, I think the younger players, the guys trying to make rosters, or younger players on the fringe and that are in danger of like being cut or however you want to look at, those are the guys that it'd probably be in their best interest to show up and get some work in. Maybe also if you got some guys who are coming off injury, maybe they could benefit from some early work, something like that. But in the grand scheme of things, like yeah, and this kind of is a topic, year to year, where like somebody doesn't show up for whatever reason, but it's always seemed like it's individual based. It's not like
Right.
full teams just saying we don't want to do it. And yeah, I think I'm a little suspicious of the COVID thing. It's something we've been dealing with for quite some time now. Um, I got Cody messaged me the other day. He messaged me yesterday, and I hadn't heard anything about it yet. He's like, "Yeah, I see your team's on strike already." I'm like, "What are you even talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they're doing it. They don't want to do the voluntary workouts because of COVID. Because I'm just getting a little tired of it myself. I don't much. I would I do believe it's more of guys just don't want to participate. I'm not much, I'm kind of I got the COVID fatigue right now. It seems like it's just a default excuse for a lot of things. Just we don't want to do health and safety. We scared for whatever reason. Well, social distance, wear your mask. All these things that everybody says help you and they don't spread the disease as much. Why don't you just go ahead and do that, and then you can volunteer to show up? I'd rather just be told, hey, you know what, voluntary workouts, uh, bump that. We don't want to do it. You ain't got no. Don't give me the flimsy excuse of COVID that you've been dodging for over a year now for the most part. Not trying to minimize it. I'm not trying to sully the memory of anybody who's been died for it. I get all that, but you know I get real curious the more and the longer that we allow something like this to dictate our lives, especially when we have multiple vaccines in the work. If you're that concerned about COVID, how about you go get the vaccine? I mean, I don't know, that could be something you might want to go ahead and try to do. And then I've been the way from what I've read, those are pretty. Once you get the vaccine, it should protect you. Otherwise, what the hell's the point? So I think the whole situation is really curious and suspicious. I'd rather just be told, guys, we'd rather not do it. We'll see you at the OTAs or whatever the next mandatory thing that we have to do. And I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I do. And the other thing is, I'd be interested to hear a response from the league about, the idea that they don't have their, stuff together as far as COVID. They don't have, the testing or whatever protocols that they have. It's interesting because they had it they had it last year, and it seemed like we had hiccups. We had Tennessee. There were, a couple other things went wrong throughout the year. Most of them early on. They figured it out. We had a successful season all the way up to the Super Bowl, and now 2 months after that, plus multiple vaccines, now we still scared. Like I'm a skeptic on things like these. So uh, I would I will, and I also say this, like 5 teams. I just prefer. Can we all at least get on the same page? If we're gonna we're gonna put on this front that we scared, just all 32 teams. Just take some more vacation. Don't worry about the voluntary workouts. Work out at home. Wear your mask at home while you work out. Do whatever you want to do. Protect yourself from COVID. Do that, and that's fine. But don't. I'm not. I think they'll be okay though.